Hi everybody, welcome to the weekly live Q&A plus an extra announcement today. I'm here on a beautiful property with some lovely people who have offered their mare to help you guys learn. I'll explain more about that shortly. I'll just give you a quick look around because there's some beautiful horses here. So I'm just going to turn the camera around so you can see them. So a few of you may recognize this little man here. My Facebook pictures often show me with a beautiful paint mare and a gorgeous little chestnut foal with a white blaze. This is him here. He's now 9 months old, and that is his mum in the background. So anyone who has been to my in-person intro to foaling course will know that I talk about, I foal thoroughbreds and they come in brown, bay or chestnut. And I had this one chance at having a paint baby. I was pretty excited. This lovely mare at the back with her, she's got black, kind of bay chestnut and white there. And she was in foal to a Palomino stallion, and I was super excited for this beautiful little paint baby. My first chance to pull out a paint foal. Say hi. She's very beautiful. So she's got the white on one side. Very cool markings. So this was my one chance at what I thought was my one chance at a paint baby, and we ended up with this cute little man here. So he's not quite the exciting paint that I had envisioned, but he has personality to boot, that's for sure. He's very cute. Pretty good. You can see that's his mum there. He's been weaned off her. He's not too worried about her at all. So I'm just going to turn the camera back around quickly. We'll do the Q&A section. So that I put up this week was one on I had a few questions, and I'm actually going to answer a couple of them because two of them tie into each other, and one of them is actually related to a blog post that I'm going to be doing. There we go. I'll let you see the pretty horse in the background as well, so you don't just have to look at me. So one of the posts that actually, or the questions on the post that relates to the blog post I'm doing, which will be out in the next sort of week or so, was about membranes. So there was a post put up recently in New Zealand about a foal that had blue membranes, and I had a couple of questions about that because people were confused. Membranes often is used to refer to placentas as well as to what we're referring to as membranes in this case. So when we talk about the placental membranes, we're talking about the placenta, and that's if you check out the blog post on I think it's placentas and mares, we talk about red bag foaling, which is where the placenta doesn't separate. Sorry, I've just got someone helping me out here. That's where the placenta doesn't separate from, or it separates before it's burst, and so the foal's not getting any oxygen. So you see a red bag rather than a white bag at the foaling. What we're referring to with a blue membrane, and hopefully this girl will let me show since she's being so friendly here, is if we curl up her lips. Good girl, Teak. She doesn't really want to show us. But when you curl a horse's lips back and you see their gums, and there's this pale surface in there under the gums as well, that's what we call the mucous membranes. So the mucous membranes, she's going to yawn now and show you. Here we go. So the mucous membrane should be pink when a foal's born. So the foal should come out, should be wiggling pretty much as soon as it's out, once its legs and its chest are out. And its membrane, so this lovely bit in here, should be a nice pink colour. That's an indicator that your foal's healthy. Now this foal, the post was on the other day that brought this question up, had blue membranes. Hello. And the reason that the membranes were blue is because what that means is that the foal is oxygen deprived. So if the foal's oxygen deprived, it's not getting oxygen where it needs to, and so its membranes will turn blue. So that's what we're talking about when we refer to blue membranes, and it's really important that we check that when the foal's born to make sure that the foal is getting adequate oxygen. If the membranes are blue, then you're going to need to call a vet. They may need to come and tube the foal with oxygen. If you have oxygen on site, that's great too. And then if you don't have oxygen on site, you can actually do mouth to nose, kind of like foal version of CPR on the foal to get them breathing. So that was the one I just wanted to cover briefly on blue membranes and red membranes. So red membranes referring to the placental membranes, and blue membranes referring to the mucous membranes. So someone's just commented from where am I from? So I'm in New Zealand. So there's a little town called Palmerston North, about 2 hours north of Wellington, and so that's where I am based, and that's where I do all my work, and that's where I am right now. The other question that I wanted to cover was the one around feeding mares and whether they should be fat. So someone talked about mares often coming back from studs with big crests on their necks and things like that. A pregnant mare shouldn't be losing weight, but neither should she be gaining too much weight. So the last thing that you want is for a mare to look like she's about to drop a foal when she's actually still 3 or 4 months away from having a baby. So you don't want her to be too fat. That puts her at risk of other potential complications. And a good way to tell if she's fat is that crest on her neck. So obviously her belly's going to get bigger, but if she's getting fat deposits kind of around her shoulders and on her crest and things like that, that's something that you wouldn't want to be seeing. So I personally would keep my mares on the thinner side, and when I say that, I mean I don't want them walking around looking like toast racks, but at the same time I don't want them walking around looking like they're 11 months pregnant with 4 months gestation still to go. So that kind of covers the fat skinny one, and that also feeds into the next one that I just wanted to talk to you briefly about. And goes Gracie in the background, she's so pretty. Which was about what do you do when your mare doesn't have enough milk let down. So the milk let down in a mare, in a maiden, it can happen right on foaling time, so that isn't uncommon for them to foal with next to no bag. And then generally once the foal's started drinking, that kicks off the hormones and everything moves pretty quickly from there. If that doesn't happen, there are a couple of options. So the first one, and probably the one I would encourage the most, is if your mare has had her foal and say you've tried milking her to try and encourage that milk let down and the foal's trying to drink, then the vet can actually give you some drugs. They often use one called domperidone, and that encourages the milk let down in mares. So we've had to use that on multiple occasions on various studs that I've worked on, and generally it works really successfully. So if your mare if she is producing enough milk when the foal's young, and then as she's getting older she's not producing enough milk, and then what you might find in that situation is you're going to want to have a look at her body condition, because often if a mare isn't producing enough milk, it's because she's either not getting enough feed or not getting enough nutrients. So that would be something I would check out too. And if she's in good condition, and if there is no issues with kind of her feed or anything like that, then that's when I'd be talking to the vet about potentially getting some domperidone or some drugs or things to help her with that milk letdown. So those are the questions that I'm doing in the Q&A, and now we're going to go through the second part of this live session, which is the part that I'm really excited about. So if any of you watched, I did an intro to foaling webinar a little while ago, probably at the beginning of this year, where I talked about hopefully having a mare to use as a case study. And these wonderful, lovely people whose mare I foaled down for them last year, this little guy helping here, he's coming in for scratches with his auntie. Hi, Teak. Yes, say hi to the people. They have very kindly agreed to let me use Teak, who's this mare standing next to me, who obviously knows that she's nearly on, as a case study. So her foal is due on the 16th of December or the 14th of December, one of those days, I can't quite remember. What are you doing? And they're actually going to let me come out and do weekly updates on her and her progress. So what I'm going to do is every week I'm going to come out and take some photos of her udder, her vulva, and the size of her belly, just so that you can see her condition. And then we're going to document the progression of her udder and things throughout her pregnancy as she gets close to foaling. Now, they don't live too far away from me, so I'm really hoping to be able to get here to at least record the foaling, if not do a live streaming of the foaling, because I think that would be something that's pretty cool to share with you guys. So that is my plan, that in the middle of December, after following her development and following her udder and things like that, that you guys will all be able to see the foaling. So for our first session, I'm just going to introduce you to Teak, who I think her mum just went and got her some food, so now she's heading off because she's decided she wants something to eat. So we'll just follow Teak, and I'll tell you a little bit about her. So I said last time that I thought perhaps Grace, this beautiful paint mare, was my one shot at a paint baby. That's him there, my very painted paint baby. But Teak is actually in foal to a beautiful Tobiano, homozygous black Tobiano stallion. So you can see, I'll just show you while she's standing here, that's her udder there. So you can see it's very small, very saggy, There's not very much in it at all. If I was to touch it, it just flaps. You can see it there. There's nothing in it as it wiggles. And that is the udder I would expect to see on a mare who has had foals before, like Teak has, but is still quite a few weeks out from developing an udder of her own. So that's what that looks like. We'll take a look at her vulva. She has a very pretty mare vulva. So you can see there, nice straight up and down, nice tight seal. That's exactly what we want to see when we're looking at a mare's vulva. So that is perfect, especially for a mare who has had foals before. So there he is helping her get some dinner. So I talked before about mares not being too fat. I think Teak's in pretty much perfect condition. She's clearly carrying a foal. She's nice and shiny, she's beautiful, but she's not too fat or too heavy. So I'll be coming out and visiting Teak and all these other beautiful ponies once a week until she decides that she wants to pop her baby out. And what I'll be doing is I'll be posting on the page pictures of her so that we can track her development in pictures, so pictures of the udder, the vulva, and just her overall shape. And I'll be doing a little bit of a write-up as we start to notice the differences in her udder and things like that. We'll be doing a bit of a write-up on what to look for, and then that can be there for you guys to use as well as a resource. So as I said, she's in foal to a homozygous black Tobiano stallion. She is, now I did get told this, I think she's a paint thoroughbred cross herself. So pretty much guaranteed to have ourselves a beautiful little black and white baby. So I'm going to have my second shot at a paint baby on the same place I had my first attempt. Ironic really, because I've got a paint mare over there that gave me a little chestnut baby, and now I've got a plain mare who's going to hopefully give me a little painted baby. I'm not 100% up with my colour genetics, so but as I understand it, the odds of us getting a paint baby are pretty good. So she's just going into the feed shed there, going to scope out what's going on. So that's Teak, and little Jeep and all the other beautiful ponies that are here. I'm really excited about this. I think the case study is going to be really good, a really good way for you guys to get some information and to actually see it practically, the development of a mare's udder, what happens, what it looks like, different signs to look for and things like that. And then definitely if I can get on to having that live stream of that foaling, or at the very least video recording of the foaling, then that would be ideal. So that's the plan. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. So next week, early next week, I'll put up another post, another Q&A post on the Foal-Ed page, where you can go and write any questions you have about foaling, and I'll pick one or two to follow up on in the live Q&A like this. Hopefully maybe when I come back out here and visit these guys again for the next Q&A. Someone's just said it would be really good to see a case study of a foal's progress after foaling too. That's actually a really good point. It's not something that I specialise in. I'm not in, I do foaling and I know about following the foals afterwards, but I can definitely, here's Jeep here a few months down the track from his foaling, so it is really cool to keep up with them. So there's absolutely, that's something you can look at, seeing how the foal progresses after the foaling as well. So I'll wrap that up there. The other thing I just want to mention briefly, if any of you haven't seen already, I'm at the end of November I'm going to be running a Prepare for Foaling challenge. It's completely free, 100% free. Say hi, Teak. 100% free, so you can just come along. We'll go through things like how to prepare your foaling kit, where you're going to foal your mare, what some of the methods are for foaling, for monitoring your mare leading up to foaling time. So that's all 100% free. I'll post the link under this video in case you're interested in checking that out. And then also, as always, we have our blog, the Foal-Ed blog, up and running, where you can go and check out articles and things like that, free articles that will help you with foaling. So thank you for tuning in today. Jeep says bye, says thanks. Oh, thanks for that. And we will hopefully see you next time. Thanks everybody. Bye.